Man. Good afternoon, everybody. It's your boy D Mac, and I'm back with my new phone, and I'm ready to go ahead and get back in real quick. So let me dig in on this real quick, because this is something that I'm just catching up, and getting up to speed on everything, because I've been out of the loop for about a week until I got my new phone. But here we go. Check this out. So it reports are coming in saying that Charleston White, the activist, the youth advocate, and all of that good stuff, and the social media influencer now, was shot in a club in Dallas. And the thing about it was the same type of situation as Plaxico Burress. Because if you remember Plaxico Burress, who was the wide receiver for the New York Giants, he shot himself in the leg going to the club. And by golly gee, Mr. Charleston White has done the same thing. He's done a Plaxico Burress, he's done a Cheddar Bob, whatever you want to call it. But Mr. Charleston White has reportedly, allegedly shot himself in the leg in the club. Now he is all right. No life threatening wounds or anything like that. Just more of a wound to his ego and his pride, maybe. And I'm not rejoicing in the fact that he brought harm to himself like that. It's just, you know, you have to be careful what you say, because when you put a lot of things out there, you leave yourself open for a lot of ridicule and criticism whenever these unlikely and unfortunate things happen to you. And I just want to make that clear that I'm not rejoicing in this man being hurt. Hey, how you doing, Hurricane? What's happening today? Blessings to see you. Hey, thanks. I'm glad to be back. I was just sitting around all week, and I really realized how much, um, how much out of the loop you can get just within a short span of time. What's up, Lovey? Hey, blessings. Hey, how's the wedding going? Everything going good? You was looking nice. I like the whole little beads and the the little Caesar thing. That was dope. But yeah, so that's why one of the main things that I always said, as far as speaking on Charleston White, was, I just had to get me a new phone. I had to go. It's crazy. I went on a whole field trip to find a phone, but I'm good. I'm back on. I'm back online now and ready to rock. And my thing is with Charleston White, that's one of the first things that popped up on my phone whenever I turned it on and stuff. And so, first and foremost, why is he feeling like he have to carry guns into the club? And what club is allowing people inside with guns? This is one of the issues and one of the reasons why innocent people get killed in the club. We just had a situation that's close and personal to my family, where a young lady who just finished law school, just had a baby, and was out celebrating with her fiance, was at the club in San Antonio, and was hit by a stray bullet and killed. Just this past, not this past, was it this past weekend? Yeah, the last weekend. Last weekend. Promising young black queen, had already been accepted to a law firm, had a baby, a newborn baby. Her and her boyfriend, her fiance, was getting ready to start their life together. Her life was ended by a knucklehead inside of the club with a gun, shooting outward. And so my question is, why are these guns getting into the clubs? Is it, have people become relaxed because we have this new rule in Texas where you can carry if you have a permit? Are they getting relaxed to the point to where they're letting stuff slip through the cracks like this? Because now you have a whole family that's distraught. No, not just one family, two families. Because the guy who killed somebody, he killed two people. Not only did he kill this young lady, he killed another gentleman as well. That's another family that's in distress. The guy who killed the people, his family is in distress over senseless, stupid reasons. And now you have Charleston White who goes up in the club. Thank God it wasn't pointed to where it would hit anybody else, and he only struck himself. But they're allowing people to bring these guns in the club like this just because of who they are, or for there's absolutely no reason that they should be allowing people to bring guns inside of the club. And you see the end results of it. So how are these clubs being held accountable is my question. Never mind Charleston White, never mind that. How are these clubs being held accountable? Because they do have security at these clubs. They do check people as they come into these clubs. And so my question again is, how do these guns keep getting inside of the club for people to be able to take innocent life? This is a problem that they need to hold these club owners accountable for. This is their venue. They're responsible for whatever happens on those premises. And so if they're allowing people to have guns inside of the club because they the owner cousin, or they know somebody, or that what for whatever reason they're allowing these people to bring guns into the club, they need to be on trial just as much as the shooter is. It's really time for us to lock down on people, lock down on these other people who are responsible as well, because it's in their areas, it's in their buildings where these things are taking place. And so there's definitely going to be some responsibility on their part. So I'm going to keep you said security should also be held accountable. Absolutely, 100%. They're the ones in charge of making sure that that environment is safe. That's their main primary job there. Security, it's in the name alone. And so for them to be allowing people to come in with weapons, yeah, they definitely have to be held accountable. Some, I don't know if punitive damages or, whatever they want to do, but yeah, they should be absolutely held accountable. And I'll take that even farther. Whenever, like, how they like to have the ICE group to go out and round up immigrants from these jobs and all of these different companies and corporations. These companies and corporations are not held accountable. They throw all the blame on those immigrants who are coming to try to seize an opportunity, but they never hold the people accountable who are really, really at fault. And that's those corporation owners, those business owners that are exploiting these people in this manner. And a lot of times, this is the main conduit for a lot of this violence and stuff to even take place. So, yeah, Charleston White in the club in Dallas. I guess, I don't know if he felt danger or he was trying to reposition it. So I don't know what happened. All I know is he Plaxico burst himself. And I know it's messed up to keep using that brother as the butt of a joke, but it really is whenever you do something that foolish. I mean, um, you have the means of getting security. You have all of the different resources available for you to be secured going into anywhere. And it's pride that makes you say, forget all of that. I'm going to forego that. And I'm just going to carry a gun or carry me a weapon to protect myself, to let people know that I ain't scared to be out here by myself. I ain't no punk. That's all pride right there. And you're setting the stage for something to take place. And here you go. He shot himself. If he would have had security, they would have had weapons on them. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't even had to have a weapon. Why do he feel he needs a weapon being in Dallas? Well, when you speak inflammatory things like that, what do you expect to take place? What do you really expect? Whenever you're disrespecting gangs, real live gangs on a regular basis, then you just bring in that type of energy to yourself. You say, is he too old for the club? See, that's the thing, though. And we had these discussions before about these old dudes trying to relive their youth and out here trying to act like these young boys and giving these young boys the respect that those young boys should be giving them as an elder person in the community. But they're not carrying themselves like somebody who's worthy of that respect. And so the dynamic is flipped. And if you got money and you're a young boy and you out here doing it, a lot of these older men are gonna give you the respect that they themselves should be getting as an elder statesman. So it's all out of whack. And this guy, you absolutely right. He way too old. What is he doing in the club? I've said that about a few people. That's like Mama Duck, FBG Duck Mama. She was in a situation to where she almost got shot in the club. Why are you in the club, Mama Duck? Why? You do not need to be in the club with all those young kids. You can stay connected to what's going on in the neighborhood without being up in those environments and putting yourself in that type of danger. This is something that I understand. Older people, we still want to go out. We want to still have our fun, but we can't be intermingling with these young people and trying to cater to their type of energy. Whenever we do that, that's whenever we blur those lines of respect for the elders. You know what I'm saying? You say you can dance and drink at home. That's a lot safer. I absolutely agree 100% because that's absolutely what I would do. You can't go out nowadays because people don't know how to conduct themselves in public. They don't have respect for life. And so they won't wait until they get into an environment where they can face off without hitting somebody else. Remember back in the Western days, they used to make everybody go inside and they'll step out in the middle of town so that if they bullets fly anywhere, it won't hit nobody directly. They had consideration. They had planning to what they were about to do. And there's no respect for life anymore. So people just gonna go out shooting. They shooting in the crowds. I remember up here in Texas, we have 6th Street. It's kind of like Bourbon Street in New Orleans. And so there's a whole bunch of people on there any given weekend. And you have people who will shoot off into those crowds of people because they have no respect for life. And they don't care who they hit. They're just aiming at a specific person, but that person happens to be in the direction of 180 other people, and they don't take that into consideration. They just gunning for that one person, and they can't shoot as it is, so they're gonna miss and hit somebody else. But this is what's happening. They're too young to make these types of decisions and to have these types of weapons in their hand. They're far too young to be put in a grown man put in these positions crack a lot of times and make bad decisions a lot of times. So I know a kid that's 15, 16, 17, all the way up to early 20s are going to make a bad decision when put in that type of situation of having to shoot or having to hold your peace and hold your anger until you get into a different environment. But they don't have that level of understanding, so they can't make those decisions in the moment, especially when they're fueled and motivated by their anger. And so we end up with these types of situations. That's why they shouldn't allow guns to be in any type of public environment. And here in Texas, just last September, they brought in the law that says that you can carry a weapon openly in Texas without a license if you qualify. So basically, you have to you don't have to have a license in your billfold to pull out and show them, but you do have to be in the system as qualified to carry a weapon. But if you qualify, you can carry a weapon pretty much most outside areas in Texas. Most stores are not going to allow you to bring your weapons into their store, and they have that public individual right to do so. That's how they set it up in the state. And so, you know, even these store owners out here, they understand that who qualifies you. That's a very good question. I think it's like a state database that they'll put you into, and if you don't have any medical or criminal background come up that would prevent you from meeting the criteria, then you qualify. And so that's what it's based on: mental health restrictions, and what I just say, mental health restrictions, and yeah, domestic, like criminal background. So if you have like a domestic violence background, that disqualifies you. Same things that would disqualify you from actually getting a weapon, period, basically. So yeah, it's just that state database, and so that varies from state to state now. Where here in Texas, it varies from store to store. So if they say you can't bring your weapon in their store, then you have to put it back in your vehicle. But you can open carry here in Texas, and so that brings a whole nother large amount of problems with it in itself. Now we have everybody out here who's just itching for an opportunity to use their weapon that they can walk around with on their side. That it's just like having liquid courage when you get drunk. Now they feel like they're invincible. Now they feel like they got a shield because they can walk around with their gun sticking out and everybody can see it. Or most people will conceal theirs. But it's just the mindset. The mindset of, say, you never visit Texas. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, really, because on one hand, you have a lot more people out here that's carrying weapons, and some people who don't have the temperament to be carrying a weapon. They just qualify on paper, but their temperament does not say they should have a weapon. And then you have people out here who have common sense, and they're respectful, and they're responsible with their weapons. So if something do happen, people are gonna think twice about running around here pulling out guns, because now they understand that in Texas, Granny got something in her purse. So you ain't gonna just run up on Granny like you used to run up on Granny. And so it's a double-edged sword in a sense, because it gives us some sense of being able to protect ourselves as citizens who are doing the right thing and responsible. But at the same time, it's hard for the police to be able to differentiate between who's who. So if they come up on the scene and I got my gun out and this guy got his gun out, they don't know who's the good guy and who's the bad guy. And they probably gonna end up shooting both of us. So these are the types of problems that judgment brought to Texas. But you know, a lot of people said, I'll take it. I'd rather have the opportunity to protect myself out in public, especially with all of these mass shootings and public shootings going on, than to not have that luxury, and always have in the back of my mind that I can get charged with something for using my own personal weapon to protect me and my family in public. So it's a dang if you do, dang if you don't type of situation. But when it goes to these club owners and these different organizations allowing people to come up in there with guns, if you allow guns in there, then you are at that point automatically accepting any responsibility for what that weapon does inside that establishment. And that should just be that, but we'll see. I hope that that's the way that they play it, because, like I said, this young lady, we went to church with their family. I knew the young lady. She dated my son. It was someone close to home, man. So to see that type of situation happen, and to find out that the person was inside of the club and she was on the outside of the club, but she still ended up being a victim to gun violence. It's sad, man. My condolences to the family. I really don't put names out there like that, but you know who you are. Condolences to the family. I'm glad that Charleston White didn't hit a main artery or something like that and cause himself significant damage. He needs to be more careful about how he moves around. And if he's going to have to move that type of way, he needs to think about the type of rhetoric that he's putting out there. Because I'm sure he understands what type of heat he brings to himself. He's had many run-ins with different people, many altercations, and I guess it's a game to him. So when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. That's what I was always told. That's what I was always told. So if that's the game that he wants to play, hey, that's all fine and well. But, if something further happens, God forbid something further happens to the man, who's going to be like, oh, wow, I would have never thought. See, that's the thing. I don't want to speak too soon for Tekashi 6ix9ine, but maybe he gained that realization through having to go to prison and having to snitch and now having to be under constant protection and all of those things that his life consists of now, because he wanted to try to play the street game. And playing that street game is very, very dangerous game, because the streets ain't never loved nobody. Everybody out here talking about they got love for the streets and they got love for this and that. The streets ain't never gave nobody no type of love at all, ever. So, if they want to exchange their life for that non-existent love that they think they getting from the streets, then that's on them. More power to them. But D-Mac don't move like that. That is not how I move. I understand how these streets are. I have no love for the streets, and the streets have no love for me, and that's cool. No love lost at all. No pun intended. But these guys out here, especially guys that's in their 40s and up in age, that should know better, that's choosing to play this young man's game. This ain't your game. You need to sit down. Your time has passed. And you're trying to relive your life through these young people, and in this different time that we're living in, you're going to get caught up real quick. You're going to get caught up real quick. This is not your time. Your time is past, Charleston. Our time is past. It's time to pass that baton, pass that torch, give over that mantle to somebody else. And that's not to say that older people can't be entertained and they can't do this or that, but stay out of the young folks' game. You trying to play with these young kids, they don't have that same temperament like you did when you was a kid. They don't have that same level of reverence for things that our generation had reverence for. And these are the things that they don't take into consideration when they get out there trying to get up in these young dudes' face. I remember there was a time where you get up in a kid's face and you let them know you was in the military, they'll back down. You get up in a kid's face now talking about you in the military. Well, guess what? They get ready to have a 21 gun salute for you. So that reverence and that respect for position and labels and all of that, these young generations don't care about none of that. And this is what he don't understand. He's trying to play this young folks game, and now he's putting himself in a position to where he's going to be ridiculed for the next few months, because I know he's going to be the butt to all jokes now. And anytime he say anything about a gun or anything like that, but knowing Charleston White and how he is, he usually takes that away from people by clowning himself. So I imagine to see him come out with some type of video, some type of content where he clowning himself about what he did. And, he'll take a whole lot of the sting out of all the jokes that everybody cracking, because the jokes are coming. I already see them formulating now. I see the headlines, I see the pictures and the images. So everybody's getting their best material together to go at him. And so he's definitely going to jump on top of this if he's not in a real bad state as far as the wound that he received. Then he gonna jump on top of this. He gonna make fun of himself, take a lot of sting out, go ahead and weather the storm, and get back to the provocative stuff that he does. But just a cautionary tale for everybody, you know. And it also brings light to the fact that these venues and these clubs allowing people to bring guns inside of there, they should be held to stricter rules, stricter laws, bigger fines, and all of that. Make an example of them so that they can really have a sense of security in these places for our children who are coming there to see their favorite artists or whatever the case may be. They come in there patronizing your place, supporting your place financially with their own money. The least you can do is make sure that it's a safe environment for those people. And if you can't do that, then that establishment needs to be closed, or it needs to be under new management who can seem to handle that. That's all that I really have to say about that. Hey, I appreciate you for coming on. Yeah, Mac is back on now. I got my thing popping again. So always blessings, you know what it is. And like I always say, sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.